Have you ever waited for a miracle to change your life? Something extraordinary to sweep in and fix your health, your finances, your relationships? What if I told you that the miracle you're waiting for is actually waiting for you? That it's hiding in plain sight, disguised as small, simple actions you can take today? Imagine waking up tomorrow with the absolute certainty that you possess everything needed to transform your life. Not next month, not when circumstances improve, not when you have more time or money, but right now with what you already have. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the fundamental truth about personal transformation that most people miss. Miracles don't happen to us. They happen through us, through our decisions, through our actions, through our persistence. Today, we're going to explore how creating miracles in your life isn't about divine intervention or lucky breaks. It's about understanding the profound power of small, consistent actions and the courage to take complete responsibility for your life. By the end of this video, you'll have a practical blueprint for creating your own miracles, a system that, when followed with discipline and heart, will yield results so remarkable that others might mistake them for luck or magic. But you'll know better. You'll know they came from the most reliable source of transformation in existence, your own determined effort. So if you're tired of waiting for life to improve on its own, if you're ready to become the author of your own transformation story, stay with me. The journey we're about to take isn't always comfortable, but I promise it will be worth it. Let's begin. When we think about changing our lives, we often imagine dramatic moments of insight or intervention, the weight loss miracle, the financial windfall, the perfect relationship appearing just when we need it. We've been conditioned to expect transformation to arrive in packages labeled overnight success. But this perspective creates a dangerous paradox. The more we wait for dramatic change, the less likely we are to create any change at all. As psychologist Carol Dweck discovered in her groundbreaking research on mindset, people who believe their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, what she calls a growth mindset, achieve far more than those waiting for talent or circumstance to save them. Consider this story from author James Clear. On the first day of class, Jerry Uelsman, a professor at the University of Florida, divided his film photography students into two groups. The quantity group would be graded solely on the amount of work they produced. The quality group would be graded on the excellence of their work. At semester's end, the surprising result was that the highest quality photos came from the quantity group. Why? Because they were taking action, learning from mistakes and improving through iteration, while the quality group sat theorizing about perfection, but rarely clicking the shutter. This is our first insight into miracle making. Excellence isn't born from perfect conditions or perfect planning. It emerges from engagement, from doing what you can with what you have, where you are. Let me ask you a question. What would happen if, instead of waiting for your health to magically improve, you simply walked around the block today? Not a marathon, just a block. What if, rather than hoping for financial wisdom to strike like lightning, you read one page of a money management book? Not the whole library, just one page. But that's too simple, you might think. How could something so small create meaningful change? This objection reveals our second paradox. We simultaneously overestimate what's required to start and underestimate what consistent action can accomplish over time. Consider the mathematics of small improvements. If you improve just 1% each day, after 1 year you'll be 37 times better, not 365% better, but 3,700% better, due to the power of compounding. As philosopher Will Durant summarized Aristotle's wisdom, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This brings us to a critical truth about personal responsibility. No one else can walk around the block for you. No one else can read that page for you. No one else can make that healthy food choice for you. The miracle of transformation begins the moment you stop outsourcing your life and start owning your actions. The irony is beautiful. By accepting the responsibility for creating our own miracles through small, consistent actions, we actually make those miracles more likely to occur. When we trade magical thinking for methodical doing, we tap into a power far greater than luck or chance. We harness the unstoppable force of accumulated effort. Let's talk about beginnings, small beginnings. the kind that feel almost insignificant in the moment. Imagine eating an apple a day, just one apple. It requires minimal effort, perhaps 2 minutes of your time. Yet this simple action, repeated consistently, can significantly impact your health over months and years. The fiber helps your digestion, the nutrients support your immune system, the natural sweetness might satisfy cravings that would otherwise lead to less healthy choices. This is the miracle of small beginnings, not that they transform us overnight, but that they set in motion patterns of behavior and consequence that, given time, create results that appear miraculous to outside observers. Consider the story of John, who at 45 found himself overweight, lethargic, and at risk for serious health conditions. The mountain of change before him seemed insurmountable. Every diet he researched required radical changes he couldn't imagine sustaining. Every exercise program seemed designed for someone half his age with twice his energy. So John did something that seemed almost trivial. He committed to walking to the end of his driveway and back every day after dinner. Just the driveway, perhaps 30 seconds of activity. The first night, feeling slightly ridiculous but determined, he did it. The second night, too. By the fourth night, he thought, "This is too easy," and extended to the neighbor's driveway. Within 2 weeks, he was walking around the block. 6 months later, 3 miles daily had become non-negotiable. A year later, he had lost 60 pounds and no longer needed blood pressure medication. Was it the walking alone? Of course not. The initial action created what psychologists call a keystone habit, a behavior that changes how you see yourself and therefore changes what else becomes possible. Once John became a person who walks daily, other choices aligned: drinking more water, eating more mindfully, going to bed earlier to prepare for his morning walk. The miracle wasn't in the first step, it was in how that step changed John's identity, which changed his subsequent choices, which changed his life. As writer Anne Lamott advises about seemingly enormous tasks, bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird. Her father gave this advice to her brother, who was overwhelmed by a school report on birds due the next day. After months of procrastination, the task seemed impossible, until he was reminded to focus on just one bird at a time. This wisdom applies universally. Want to write a book? Start with 1 paragraph. Want to transform your finances? Save $1. Want to rebuild a relationship? Share one honest moment of connection. The miracle of small beginnings lies in their accessibility. Anyone can take a small step, regardless of circumstances. And once that step is taken, a profound psychological shift occurs, from helpless waiting to empowered action, from passive victim to active creator, from someone who needs miracles to someone who makes them. Remember, the size of your first step matters far less than your willingness to take it. There's a powerful story about Jesus and his disciples that perfectly illustrates our next principle, regardless of your religious beliefs. When tax collectors came demanding payment, Jesus instructed Peter, "Go to the lake and throw out your line. Take the first fish you catch. Open its mouth and you will find a 4 drachma coin. Take it and give it to them for my tax and yours." Now consider this story not as a supernatural miracle, but as a profound metaphor for life. Jesus didn't magically make the coin appear in Peter's hand. He didn't even tell Peter to pray for financial help. Instead, he instructed Peter to do what Peter knew how to do: fish. And through that action, the solution would emerge. This is what I call the fisherman's principle. The miracles we seek often come not through passive waiting, but through active engagement with our existing skills and resources. Think about it. Peter could have said, "But I'm tired of fishing. Can't you just make the coin appear?" Instead, he trusted the process, took action despite possibly finding it strange, and discovered exactly what he needed. How often do we ignore the fishing rods in our own lives, the skills, knowledge, and resources we already possess, while waiting for solutions to fall from the sky? Consider Sarah, a talented graphic designer who spent months unemployed, applying for jobs with little success. While waiting for the miracle of perfect employment, she ignored the fishing rod in her hand, her design skills. When she finally decided to start a small freelance project for a local business, It led to another client, then another. Within a year, she had built a thriving design business that surpassed any salary she'd previously earned. The miracle wasn't landing the perfect job. It was recognizing she already had what she needed to create value and taking action accordingly. This principle extends beyond work. In relationships, the fishing rod might be your willingness to initiate difficult conversations. In health, it might be your knowledge of which foods make your body feel energized versus depleted. In education, it might be your library card or free online courses. The Fisherman's Principle teaches us that miracles rarely come from extraordinary external interventions. They emerge from ordinary actions performed with extraordinary intention and persistence. As Michelangelo purportedly said about his sculpture of David, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." The miracle wasn't that someone gave him a perfect statue. It was that he saw the possibility in the raw material before him and took action to reveal it. What raw materials exist in your life right now? What fishing rods are you overlooking? The solution you seek, the coin in the fish's mouth, might be just one committed action away, hidden inside work you already know how to do. The Fisherman's Principle reminds us that miracles don't often arrive through mysterious means, but through committed engagement with what's already within our reach. Now that we understand the power of small beginnings and the importance of using what we already have, let's build your personal miracle system, the framework that will transform sporadic efforts into consistent results. Every sustainable miracle, whether it's a health transformation, financial independence, or mastery of a craft, requires a system, not just inspiration. As entrepreneur James Clear puts it, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Here's how to build yours. First, identify your cornerstone actions, the small daily behaviors that, when performed consistently, create a foundation for everything else. These are your non-negotiables, your minimum viable effort. For physical well-being, it might be 8 glasses of water and 20 minutes of movement. For mental clarity, perhaps 10 minutes of morning meditation. For financial progress, tracking expenses daily. These cornerstone actions share 3 crucial characteristics. They're simple enough to do even on your worst day. They're significant enough to make a difference when accumulated. And they're specific enough to be measurable. Next, establish your miracle metrics, the specific measurements that will reveal your progress. Remember, we manage what we measure. If you're building a writing habit, track daily word count. If you're improving your fitness, record workout duration or performance markers. If you're developing a business, monitor revenue-generating activities. The physicist Lord Kelvin wisely noted, "If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it." Your miracle metrics transform vague hopes into concrete feedback loops. Third, create environmental triggers, cues in your physical space that prompt your miracle-making actions. Want to read more? Place a book on your pillow each morning. Need to drink more water? Fill bottles and position them where you'll see them throughout the day. Hoping to exercise consistently? Sleep in your workout clothes. These environmental triggers reduce the friction between intention and action. As Stanford behavior scientist B.J. Fogg explains in his research, make the behavior you want easier to do. Make the behavior you don't want harder to do. Fourth, develop your resilience protocol, predetermined responses to inevitable obstacles. When you miss a day of exercise, what's your recovery plan? When work demands consume your creative time, how will you recalibrate? When motivation wanes, what specific steps will you take? This isn't about perfection, it's about continuity. Author Ryan Holiday reminds us, "The obstacle is the way." Each challenge becomes not a roadblock, but a building block in your miracle system. Fifth, establish accountability structures, relationships or commitments that keep you engaged when willpower falters. This could be a workout partner, a financial accountability group, or public commitments on social media. Research from the American Society of Training and Development found that commitment to another person increases the likelihood of achievement by 65%. Finally, schedule regular system evaluations, times when you'll assess not just your progress but the effectiveness of your system itself. Every 30 days, ask, is this system making miracle making easier or harder? What one adjustment would create better results? Remember, your miracle system shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like empowerment, a framework that simplifies decisions, concentrates energy, and compounds results. As author Scott Adams observes, goals are for losers, systems are for winners. Goals exhaust us with constant striving. Systems sustain us with consistent progress. Your miracle system transforms sporadic hope into methodical creation. It converts the abstract concept of better into concrete actions taken today. Most importantly, it shifts responsibility for change from external forces to your own daily choices. Let's talk about something most personal development resources gloss over: the critical importance of measuring results. Without this step, even the best intentions and most diligent actions can lead nowhere. Consider a business that never checks its financial statements, a doctor who never follows up on treatment outcomes, or a farmer who never inspects growing crops. The absence of measurement doesn't just risk failure, it guarantees blindness to both success and failure. The same principle applies to personal transformation. The miracles we create must be verified through regular, honest assessment. Philosopher and mathematician René Descartes observed, "It is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well." Similarly, it's not enough to take good actions, we must measure their effects well. Here's how to implement effective measurement in your miracle making. First, establish clear baselines, honest assessments of where you're starting. If you're building financial stability, document your current net worth and monthly cash flow. If you're enhancing physical fitness, record objective measures like resting heart rate, workout capacity, and body composition. If you're developing a skill, evaluate your current ability level with specific criteria. These baselines serve two essential functions. They prevent the discouragement that comes from forgetting how far you've come, and they provide objective evidence of progress that subjective feelings might miss. Next, determine appropriate measurement intervals. Some metrics benefit from daily tracking, like habits performed, others from weekly assessment, like skill progression, and still others from monthly review, like financial growth. The frequency should match the natural development cycle of what you're measuring. As management theorist Peter Drucker famously said, "What gets measured gets managed." But I would add, what gets measured appropriately gets managed effectively. The method of measurement matters too. Use tools that reduce friction, a simple habit tracking app, automated financial software, or performance logs for skills. The easier measurement becomes, the more consistently you'll do it. Perhaps most importantly, approach measurement with curiosity rather than judgment. Each data point is neither good nor bad. It's information that guides your next action. Lower numbers than expected might reveal ineffective strategies needing adjustment. Higher numbers might identify approaches worth doubling down on. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on mindset applies perfectly here. In a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. So rather than thinking, "Oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses," you say, "Wow, here's a chance to grow." This perspective transforms measurement from a threatening evaluation into an empowering investigation. Remember, the goal of measurement isn't perfection, it's progress. And progress requires honest awareness of both strengths and weaknesses. As leadership expert John Maxwell notes, failed plans should not be interpreted as a failed vision. Visions don't change, they are only refined. Plans rarely stay the same and are scrapped or adjusted as needed. Be stubborn about the vision, but flexible about your plan. The miracles you create deserve verification. They deserve the dignity of being seen clearly, assessed honestly, and celebrated specifically. Through measurement, your miracle making evolves from hope-based to evidence-based, from wishing to knowing. We've covered a lot of ground together, from understanding the paradox of personal transformation to building your miracle system and measuring what matters. Now it's time to put these principles into action with a 30-day miracle challenge. For the next month, commit to one small daily action that aligns with your deepest values. Not something impressive or Instagram-worthy, something foundational and sustainable. Walk for 10 minutes, Read 5 pages, write 1 paragraph, save $1. Have 1 meaningful conversation. Track this action daily. Notice not just whether you did it, but how it affects your identity, your other choices, your sense of personal power. After 30 days, measure the tangible and intangible results. Then ask yourself, if these are the results from 1 small action taken consistently, what might be possible with a lifetime of such choices? The miracle you've been waiting for is waiting for you in your next small committed action. Begin today. Your future self will thank you for the miracles you started right now. Thank you for watching. If this approach to creating your own miracles resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and share in the comments 1 small action you're committing to for the next 30 days. Your share might be exactly the inspiration someone else needs to begin their own miracle journey. Until next time, remember, extraordinary results come from ordinary actions taken with extraordinary consistency.